Hello, beautifuls. Alright, so I know I say this a lot, but this is going to be a little different. I tend to keep things pretty random here. It keeps me interested, which is always a good thing. When I get bored, I get in trouble. This is a whole lot of nonsense, but it's fascinating. So, even though I wasn't going to do a video about this, I learned some things that haven't really been covered widely. See you after the intro.
I don't do it by the book, no, I do my own thing. That's why every single hook got them singing like me. And I ain't in any rush, cause I'm finally getting paid. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah.
Alright, so this video is going to be fun because I'm probably going to have to delete a whole lot of comments because people get very, very defensive when you talk about their favorites.
What you looking at? You want to go? You want to go? Get some ice cream or something? Because I think you're really attractive.
And I'm not even upset about that. My daughters watch a lot of YouTubers, and I watch a lot of them with them. Actually, I've introduced them to a few because YouTube it has such variety, and it really does offer support to people, especially when they need it. There are young kids, 9, 10, 11, and they're going through stuff that their parents may not understand. And that sounds so cliche, but it's really true. And some of these YouTubers, these kids feel like they're connecting with somebody like Shane Dawson.
Shane, he saved my life. I love him so much, and he saves everybody. He's such an inspiration to so many people.
And he's one of those YouTubers that I've watched a lot with my daughters. Sometimes we'll sit at the table and we'll just discuss the latest craziness or something that he brought up, or how fun it was watching one of his older videos or one of his new ones. That said, seeing his support of this chick, I didn't try and say her name, Tana Mongeau, whatever. Anyway, seeing his ride or die kind of support of her is troubling, because I think that with what he's gone through and the experience he has, he knows better, and he knows the kind of people that are watching her videos, how young they are, how impressionable, and his support kind of doubles down on making it okay. He basically gives a stamp of approval on the stuff that she does, and I don't understand why.
YouTubers manipulate their audiences constantly, and most of the time the audience doesn't even know they're being manipulated.
But I do know that he's covering for her, and I'm going to explain why. Now, for those of you who don't know the situation, TanaCon was a conference basically created for revenge.
Because honestly, what I want to say to you is, I don't think you had good intentions, and I don't think you know that. Because the true intention of it was revenge.
A lot of people are doing VidCon. Yeah. They're like, I'm gonna pull up at TanaCon. They're so close that I could literally like go see some Doing Stuff and Escape the Night shit like in the morning at VidCon and like come over to our convention. They could like hop back and forth.
And they definitely will.
And was fuck VidCon.
You're assholes!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, super fucked up.
I didn't know that.
The whole premise for TanaCon was VidCon rejected Tana, and she had to create her own event to get back at them, to prove that all the unwanted people had a place. The thing is, if you pay attention to what's been reported, this event was set up to fail from the beginning. I don't know why this isn't obvious to some people, except for the fact that there's been a narrative pushed that, oh no, they're just young and they didn't know what they were doing. You know, Tana's still young, and by the way, she's young. Did you know that she's young?
But Shane is right. Like, we're both fucking young and dumb as fuck, and we should have never been in the position to do this.
Yeah, because that excuses everything that she does. No, it really doesn't. If you look back at her history of behavior, including racism, including filming a dead body, including talking about drug use on a constant basis to her legion of very young, impressionable fans, you start to wonder why somebody like Pewdiepie, somebody like Logan Paul, do not even half the stuff that she's done or the same thing she's done and face very serious consequences, while she still has the support of the YouTube community. It's very interesting. But anyway, so let's get back to TanaCon. TanaCon was, well,
Start moving out toward the sidewalk. We are in absolute doomsday scenario.
in my opinion, so that I can avoid getting sued by that kid, Michael, because apparently he likes doing that to avoid facing any consequences for his actions. Michael has held events before that were successful, and Tana knows this, so obviously, you know, she would go to someone she knows will hold a successful event. Except she's worked with him before, and she's heard about the problematic things, and she knows that there could be issues. So if she was really determined to have a successful event, would she choose him? I don't think so. And she definitely wouldn't have suggested some of the things she did. If she wanted an event that wasn't successful because, you know, nobody would have been talking about a successful event, not the way that they are, she would go to Michael, because I believe he was all for that. Both of them know the kind of exposure that something like this will get. Michael is not looking to do all kinds of conferences for different YouTubers. He has his own, which has already been, you know, proven to be pretty successful, and he might get more people coming to that one because of this whole controversy, and he might get other YouTubers coming to him for suggestions on how they could have some kind of viral thing that will bring attention to them. A lot of these things sound like conspiracies or theories. The thing is, as soon as I saw the accusations that the Marriott told both Tana and Michael that their room with a capacity of just over 1,000 people could hold 5,000 people, that the Marriott told them this.
I don't know what to say. Like, do I talk about the fact that I was lied to about, like, venue and capacity sizes? Do I talk about the fact Michael literally got people from Anaheim, like Marriott, to lie to me about that? Do I say those things, or do I just take full blame?
But it doesn't make sense because it doesn't line up. So if somebody at the Marriott told you that, and now he's suing the Marriott.
Why is he suing the Marriott?
Because he says that they lied to him about capacity.
Well, what is capacity? The hotel told him 1,200, but obviously
in like the main ballroom. I have it set at 5,200 right now.
I love that for us.
I can also kind of just like set no capacity and then just be like, okay, we're gonna sell it out when we sell it out.
Not one person, and this is actually being investigated by the Marriott. I've contacted them, and some of my friends have contacted them. NPR has contacted them. We've been trying to get a statement. The thing is, Marriott has this whole situation with the legal department, because they want to double check that none of their staff that has been working with weddings, with different conferences, with events like this for decades, that none of their staff would get confused and say that the area could hold 5 times the capacity. So apparently they were told this, but they were also told 1,200. Which is it? Why does there keep being conflicting reports about numbers? Why was the 15,000 and 20,000 people attending or crashing the event, why was that pushed so much? These numbers were numbers that both Michael and Tana kept repeating, because that sounds sensational. Those numbers were more important than the number of people that were actually there, and they were more important than making sure that the event was a success. So the paperwork says 1,000 people. The security, and that was mentioned, and I was never sure why that wasn't explored more either. In his 3-part docuseries, which if you haven't seen, it is worth watching. If only for context, I do believe that Shane made the best video he could, considering.
This is like the most intense, real thing I think I've ever done because of how much I really care for you. This is, I'm like, please don't, please. I know. Okay. I'm so sorry I let you down, Shane.
Considering that he's Tana's friend, and considering that the information that he had couldn't be explored fully without implicating her, and without revealing the fact that I believe he knows that this was all done for publicity. It was all done to be talked about, as it has been.
YouTuber Shane Dawson is digging into why TanaCon truly failed in a new 3-part documentary-style vlog.
There was Tana Mongeau and TanaCon.
The first news, TanaCon.
The question is, security was so important, and you contact a security company, you have to tell them the numbers, just like you have to tell the hotel the numbers. Now in his video, Shane says straight up that, for example, VidCon spends about $1 million on security. Usually it's about 50 security guards per 5,000 people.
I want there to be food and water. I want there to be great security.
The number of security guards was never 91. I got a hold of the contract, and it said that at most there was 25 security guards at a time. Now to put that in perspective, for most conventions, it's usually 50 guards per 5,000 people. So this was cut in half. The amount of money spent on security was $60,000. To put that in perspective, the amount of money that VidCon spends on security is $1 million.
They had 25. There was never more than 25 security guards. Now, if you need to reveal the number of people you're going to have for security, for insurance for the hotel, 25 for 1,000 people, that sounds actually pretty good if you figure it's 50 for 5,000. I'm not a big math person, but that actually sounds pretty reasonable. It sounds like a discussion would have been had. We're going to have 1,000 people, so we need 25 guards. Or, 25 guards is suggested? Sure, that sounds logical. If this event had been for 1,000 people, it would have worked. It would have been successful. Why did they keep pushing for more? Why did they keep selling tickets? They kept selling tickets even after they had these over 5,000 tickets sold for a free event. There were about 300 free tickets given, and I haven't seen anybody actually report the number of $40 tickets that were sold that were not guaranteed for any panels, was basically to stand in the parking lot and possibly get to see some. This was a whole lot of money that wasn't going to Tana and wasn't going to Michael because, and I think they knew that it wouldn't go to them. I think they weren't sure how they were getting it back from Veep because I don't think they've worked with Veep before, but Veep held on to the money, and Veep is the one who decided, yeah, no, we're going to refund people. Because neither Michael or Tana, they kept talking about refunds, but they had no idea how they're going to do that. So some people were like, well, no, they were doing this for money. Nah, I don't think so. I also don't think they invested very much in this to have to worry about it. Now, besides the hotel, this is the other thing that hasn't been discussed very much, and that's the sponsors. Now, I spoke with OEVO. They were one of the sponsors at TanaCon. And one, they weren't given everything that they were promised. And two, after the event was trashed, they weren't contacted about a possible refund. They weren't contacted to explain the situation. And all their messages, emails have been ignored.
I wanna say something.
Now, OEVO is not the only sponsor. This is another thing that I found kind of concerning. James Charles's brand, sister brand, his brand also had a table that was next to OEVO. And they didn't get what they were promised either for their sponsorship. So some people have seen this already, but
I wanna say something. Yeah. Let's go. I wanna say something. Yeah. Let's go.
James Charles originally was supposed to be working with Tana on this, and they, I guess, agreed that he wouldn't be anymore. He had told her not to do a lot of things that she was doing, and he seemed pretty pissed off when all of this went down. And then he spent the day with Shane, at least a day, and he deleted all his pissed off posts saying that he wasn't going to be friends with Tana anymore, saying that he was done. This kid has dealt with Tana several times in the past, and yet he keeps working with her. I don't blame him, because when you have people like Shane defending her and speaking for her, other people in the industry are going to basically follow. Shane has become one of the leaders for his group, and James Charles is one of the people in that group. So even though he was clearly screwed over as well, now he's not speaking up. A lot of people that you think would have spoken up aren't, because Shane put out a 3-part docuseries as quickly as possible, revealing only the information that was going to change the narrative of everything and make this seem like just a mistake. It was just something that happened. They were young. They were really young. Have I mentioned that?
Consider the fact that you might be being manipulated. That's kind of what it is. All of this stuff feels incredibly rehearsed, like they thought through every little thing they were going to do.
There were people younger than both of them signing up to go serve in the military. There are people younger than both of them that are running successful businesses. And conferences and doing all kinds of amazing things out there. Too young is a really, really lame excuse. And I'm not buying it. Someone being your friend and getting into a whole lot of trouble and you having the platform to kind of clear things up for them so they're not facing fraud charges or reckless endangerment charges or all the other charges that are likely coming between the hotel, the fire marshal, the police, the city. These are all things that aren't being mentioned, that were glossed over. The thing is, YouTube is one small portion of what's happening here. The investigation doesn't stop because somebody put out a docuseries and yells at people on Twitter. So, beyond wanting to protect his friend, I don't know why Shane would think covering this up is a good idea. But there's evidence, and obviously, for legal reasons, I can't say that's exactly what he's doing, but that's what I believe he's doing. I believe he's covering this up. I believe he knows exactly what happened. I think that maybe if you watch the whole series, before the third one was released, I think that's possibly when he found out. Because before that, he seemed to be going a little more hard on things. He seemed to be more honest about his approach. And then suddenly he wasn't revealing very much. All this new information he had, well, that new information was Tana's video that proved that she was present for some of her own conference planning? I don't think so. But anyway, what I found interesting was the people who weren't falling in line. The people who spoke their own minds and were upset for fans and didn't accept the narrative that was being pushed. And two of the people that I thought did it really well were Pewdiepie and Monn. Now, Pewdiepie obviously is he's one of those people that has been very problematic and sometimes still is. I'm not going to paint a pretty picture of him. Most of us who watch YouTube and pay attention to social media know some of the things he's done. And I don't think anybody has to forgive him for any of the things he's done. Personally, I like watching people grow. I like paying attention to what they're doing to actually improve their lives. And he's faced some pretty serious consequences for what he's done. Every single video he puts up, if he steps a little bit out of line, he could have the whole thing either demonetized or taken down completely. I don't feel sorry for him for this, but I do appreciate the effort that he's made to improve his channel, to improve himself, and I hope he keeps growing. And seeing the way he's covered some of the controversies on YouTube, I've been really impressed with that. My daughter is a huge fan of his, so I wasn't going to just ignore him and, not know what she's seeing. I think it's important for us to know what these YouTubers are talking about, know what they're sharing, and talk to our kids about it the same way we would TV or anything else that they're involved in. Some of the best times that you'll have with your kids is just discussing stuff they're interested in, and that's what I've done with Pewdiepie, that's what I've done with Jacksepticeye, that's what I've done with Markiplier and a lot of my other daughter's favorites. Some of them I enjoy watching as well, so it makes it something that we can share. And I think more people need to be doing that with their kids. So if you haven't watched Pewdiepie's video, I'll share it below. he seems genuinely upset by the situation. Some of the fans that went there to meet Shane Dawson, because we know the majority of them were there for Shane, are also Pewdiepie's fans. And sure, he can be sarcastic and over the top, but you can tell he cares about his fans and he doesn't use them the way some YouTubers do. And I really like what he had to say.
The first blame that we were told was that 15,000 people
15,000
just magically showed up. I definitely recommend watching it if you're interested, but I will, however, summarize it for you. It's basically 30 minutes of incoherent, ugly sobbing. Does anyone know what she's saying? Scientists are still trying to figure this out. I'm Poppy Harlow, and rest assured, I will do my best. We are working around the clock to decipher this word.
And you believe me to be given the slightest for anything?
Because they both knew.
We're at a good capacity. I mean, we could drop it to 3,000 if we wanted to, instead of 5,200.
What are we gonna?
But what is capacity?
The hotel told me 1,200, but obviously
in like the main hall room. I have it set at 5,200 right now.
I love that for us.
It would be really, really cool too to have people like outside waiting to get in.
Like, people love to be oppressed outside.
Yes.
They're just like, I waited in the rain. Like, they love that.
They stand in the heat for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Say it's canceled.
People love to be oppressed outside.
Tana, hello. In case you're watching, I hope you are. I have a message for you. You say in Shane's video many times that you want to make it right. You want to make the situation better, but you don't know how because it's too overwhelming.
I let so many people down and I want to make it right, but it's crazy. This is not something I ever thought would happen and I don't know what to do, but I have to make it right.
You're in luck because I know how to make this right, and I'm not saying that sarcastically and ironically. Here's what you gotta do. Delete your channel. You clearly don't deserve to have an audience. The people being oppressed outside was your audience. The people that care for you. The people that paid money to see you. To me, this is a perfect example of greed of ego and greed of money being combined and creating this giant mess.
So, I think he definitely, with the reach that he has, with the kids in the same demographic that are fans of these other YouTubers, I thought it was really good to see him speak about it, and hopefully more people will pay attention and expect better, because I think they should. They shouldn't accept the lowest common denominator because it's entertaining to watch somebody be fucking messy. Like, this chick, whenever I see her with my favorite YouTubers, it's like, okay, next. I don't want to watch her. I don't find her interesting. I find her just messy. And it's like, if I wanted to see messy, I could just go downtown and watch somebody get drunk. Like, it's not that interesting. Sorry. But, you know, some people like watching her. Okay. I think we can expect better. I think there are creators on YouTube who try hard and actually create something. And seeing Pewdiepie creating things and, you know, improving his channel and changing and growing, seeing other YouTubers changing and growing, I just hope that's the trend we start seeing, rather than, you know, oh look, I'm at the airport and I'm completely stoned. Like, just... Anyway, so Pewdiepie's video, watch it. He covered this very well, and in a light way with the first one. In the second one, it was deeper, and he covers some other things that I think were really important to bring attention to. So check that out. Now, Peter Monn has done several videos about this.
This one would not have been as kind.
He did 2 or 3 addressing TanaCon itself, and then at least one addressing Shane Dawson.
Although I love Shane Dawson, okay? But I feel like he is part of the problem at this point. I took a poll yesterday in my video where I made a video asking, was Shane Dawson too easy on Tana Mongeau? 599 responses to the question. 96% of the people think that Shane Dawson was too easy on Tana Mongeau. So then you have to start asking yourself, well, what is the implication of Shane Dawson being too easy on Tana Mongeau? And I want to explain this a little bit because yesterday I got some comments on my videos and people were like, well, what was Shane supposed to do? Well, not hug her and hold her when he was doing an investigative, interview. What I care about is the fact that even as a friend, he never sat and talked to her at the end and said, this is very problematic, Tana. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about the fact that you don't see the severity of this issue, of how you've hurt a lot of creators and a lot of fans, and yet we're still sitting here and you're passing the buck to somebody else. It's time to grow up. It's time to learn something from this. That is what I have an issue with about this whole thing with Shane Dawson. Those that continue to enable Tana are going to be part of her downfall.
What Peter Monn did said a lot of the things that I wasn't seeing at the time. He was addressing Shane's video. He was addressing Shane's behavior and his attitude lately. And I'm glad he did. And I'm glad that he approached the whole thing with TanaCon and with Shane Dawson's docuseries, which apparently is a new way for YouTubers to get out of big messes that they make. You either make your own or you get someone else to do it for you and post for you and tweet for you and, pin and refund things on your page. Okay. Getting off track. Back to Peter Monn. So he addressed this, and part of his video was actually tweeted to Shane. And I think it was an important part. Peter Monn is approaching this as another fan of Shane Dawson, and he keeps telling Shane, I love you, but you can do better. Which is something that you should really be able to do if you care about somebody. You should be able to tell them, no, they're not perfect. No, they can do better. And you know what? You're screwing up big time. And right now, Shane doesn't seem willing to listen. But there are people out there that are listening and that needed to hear that. And I'm one of those people. So to Peter Monn, I just want to say thank you very much for saying what many of us have been thinking, for using your platform in a very honest way. Even if just one person learned something from those videos or from this one, I think that's worth it. Anyway, so there's still information that I'm waiting on. I was going to wait until I got all this information, but since 3-part series are in right now, maybe I'll just do that. I hope you like this video, and leave me a comment below if you watched the Pewdiepie video about this or the Peter Monn one. Who do you think covered it better? And oh yeah, like, subscribe, ring that little bell, and I'll see you in the next video.